Hello, everyone. This is Avinash Deshpande. I'm the head of architecture, director of data analytics, ML and AI platforms at Logitech. Welcome to the session, Powering Advanced and Predictive Analytics with Datacloud. We've been a Snowflake customer for a few years, sort of grandfathered in. We've looked at small use cases to all the broader use cases that we have today. We'll go through what we do in terms of analytics and using the power of Snowflake platform. Here's a simple trivia about Snowflake relationship with Logitech. Logitech is a Swiss company. As you can see, we've been in the business for a long time. We essentially were founded in Switzerland. The Logi name also comes from a French word. We're especially proud of how Logitech's designer consult with professionals in the field to go about looking at the challenges around product design and performance and gear that up in the product in itself. Let's talk about what's Logitech. So Logitech, for the past 35 years, we've been leader in products, everyday place in people's lives. We started through computers, and now it's products that bring people together through music, gaming, video, connected home, and computing in general. We are the world leader in PC peripherals such as mice, keyboards, webcams, speakers, and headsets. We are also leader in products that complement and enhance people's digital experiences in other areas of their lives beyond just the PC, often in a mobile computing environment. We make music on the go possible. We enhance the protection and productivity around the tablet. We enable video conferencing in office huddle spaces and craft the sporting equipment of the world's best gamers. Logitech connects people to the digital experiences they care about. Our consumers delight in these products because of their powerful blend of design, surprising science, and innovation driven by insight. The Logitech and its product family goes beyond just PC peripherals. In the creativity and productivity, where many of our traditional products categories sit, as well as tablet accessories. Video collaboration, which is focused around creating video conferencing equipment for business. Music, where we have Ultimate Ears, Bluetooth speaker, and Jaybird wireless earbuds. Also Blue microphones is part of the product family. Home, which is most known for our Harmony remotes, but also plays in home controls, such as Circle to Camera. And gaming, where we live with Logitech G and Astro brands products. So overall, Logitech product and verticals involve Logitech G, Astro Gaming, Streamlabs, Blue microphones, Jaybird, and Ultimate Ears. With that breadth of product family that we have comes a difficult challenge for data architects like me. When we look at the product family, all the data use cases, if we map it into a metrics, would go all the way from real time to batch oriented in terms of data velocity. We have structured to semi-structured to unstructured data. So if we map out all the use cases that we have to support on a data platform with traditional BI space, analytics, as well as data science, we have a bigger challenge of collating all the information and ensuring the data platforms that we support in are geared for those challenges. We have been using Snowflake since 2017 in production payloads. We started with small use cases around how Snowflake is used in the platform. Today, we do all of our data warehousing needs, supporting all of the supply chain, sales and marketing, finance, factory, and external data on Snowflake platform. We also started doing more of a machine data from ingesting of real-time data from all of the devices from users like you and I, either playing on a VR gaming platform or just presenting the way I'm doing right now using Logitech products. We've been on Snowflake cloud platform and pretty much in all of those facets, but today we're talking predominantly around data science and enablement of that data science on the Snowflake platform. Let's talk about high-level solution architecture that we have at Logitech. From left to right, as you can see, we have re-architected the solution to gear for the cloud. We have not lift and shifted anything that was existing before we moved over to the cloud. We do predominantly AWS payloads today. As you can see, not every source is depicted here, but a few examples out there is Oracle ERP system in EBS is an on-prem system. All the edge compute that comes to us from connected devices of Logitech is essentially under the IoT data. Some external clouds in terms of Salesforce, Google Analytics, Zendesk are cloud-to-cloud integrations. We do asynchronous processing of data when we bring the data over from on-prem or other clouds. We take the data over to S3. The data producer, as you can see, has no bearing on who the consumer of the data is or how many consumers are there in the ecosystem. The only job of that producer is to generate the data, bring it in the proper shape and form into AWS S3 and keep on pulling data. The next part to it is the data consumers who come and consume the data. Their job is to whatever is available in S3 in specific locations, start ingesting that. And we have a couple of mechanisms of ingesting of data. We orchestrate AWS CLI using Pentaho tool stack for traditional ELT processes. We ingest real-time using Snowpipe, the data from IoT devices, and we natively store them as well as semi-structured data in JSON. We also augmented the solution architecture with certain tools like Fivetran, which do real-time replication from other cloud services. So we are trying to put an essential blend of build versus buy and ensuring we can scale the environment as business is needing. So predominantly Snowflake becomes our center nucleus of the ecosystem where all the data is ingested and stored and provisioned for analytics. We do not expose Snowflake directly to any of those tools which are on the rightmost side to it. We have a business layer concept where we create governed canonical models which are secured with roles and responsibilities, and those are being exposed to the slew of tools that we have on the right side of the fence, where then becomes tool agnostic, and irrespective of which tool you are using to go about doing your analytics, we essentially provision that same information from all of our business layer architecture for business consumption. And of course, everything goes across around the governance, and we do map usage to cost compare. So we do not want to over provision and underutilize or vice versa. We keep a tab on consumptions, whether it's Snowflake warehouse usages, query sizes, number of queries that are long running, and we are on top of those operationally to look at how we could do things better and have a better end user experience. Talking about certain use cases, the customer experience is sort of essentially where we are doing a lot of data science and advanced analytics. As we all are aware, customer experience transformation happens essentially by tapping into the customer data and extracting knowledge out of it as to what the customer is talking about your brands, how do they compare your brands to your competition, as well as what they have in general experience with overall Logitech brand. This insight into the information allows Logitech to assess its abilities to better serve and support customers, but also know our customer. We would want to see what level of penetration do we have in certain verticals of our products. Can we try to see opportunities of cross-sell and upsell with the information? If there are sentiments around bad performance, we lead that data over to the engineering teams to see if there could be a better way of doing the same features and ensuring that we have success and the rating goes up. Talking about data insights that are driven from that information, we today collect worldwide reviews and pricing data from worldwide Amazon implementation, all of the retail websites where Logitech products are being sold. We also look at the reviews from our own brand websites like Jaybird, UV Custom, and Astro, where one user can go and put their reviews about the products. And we take that information quite seriously. We are also looking at reviews from all of the applications that we deploy in iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac environments. And there could be a bunch of applications relating to Harmony remotes or circle cams, as well as gaming. All those reviews come together. So the intent is to bring all of that insight as a 360 view of consumer. Some of the analytics that come out of that, obviously, is sentiment analysis to look at all the reviews and ensuring what the customer is saying about us. We look at the reviews monitoring, whether our trend is going up or down. We definitely care about the star rating analysis that is available. We do look at both by default that Amazon has put in based on their algorithm, but we also have some of our insights on top of that, where we could have a shifting star rating out of box. We're also looking at provisioning standard dashboards to business to take necessary actions on that information. We allow for other applications like Python, R, or Jupyter notebooks to consume this data and build some certain models, and it could be extended functionality around that data, but different use cases. The intent obviously is to ease of use and in near real time provisioning that information for business consumption. We do support, since we are globally selling across the world for all of the retailers, the reviews could be in different languages and being supported natively in that language over in that area. So we provision for the star rating to come out by translating the reviews to English and ensuring it's equal weightage for all the languages, but then we natively also give it back in the native language, so that if there is a customer support ticket that comes up with that review, we could handle it in native language as well. The other thing that we do, and we are on top of it, is Amazon's pricing analysis, which is a key analysis for us to ensure that we do not have a price matching issue with Amazon where suddenly our bottom line gets impacted because somebody else is selling our product for half the price. So the intent is to be on top of that pricing trend for all of our products and ensuring that it is within our threshold pricing. An example around sentiment analysis, as you can see, we are mapping out these dashboards. They are part of our hallway screens where people can interact with the information, but also targeted audience who act on this information to make necessary actions and mitigating some of those risks that we can see around sentiment. Let's talk about the consumer 360 use case. So the intent is looking at this end customer, Logitech being a B2B. For us, immediate customers are the distributors who buy our products. But for us, we are a retail electronics company, and we want to ensure we hear the voice of the customer or consumer who is the end customer of our products. We want to ensure we have a complete 360 view of all of the facets of information that we have from them and how we interact. So as you can, it's depicted in this is we look at all of their orders, and it may not cover every e-commerce or opportunity how they can buy the product, but it has a broader spectrum of coverage. We look at all of the support tickets that the customer or consumer might have. We're looking at business verticals to ensure we have all of the coverage, a 360 entry point for the information to all the facets that are touch points for that information. We also look at what they are buying, which all products do they own as a household concept to it. The voice of consumer or customer is a big deal. We're looking at collating all this information, running all the simulation engines on top to ensure we hear the customer. If there are more challenges with certain products compared to something else, which features have those challenges, and we tied back that information for engineering and marketing as needed. As you saw, the broader portfolio of Logitech with all those verticals, we want to ensure that we have the email preferences being managed in the right way, irrespective of which portal you are on. And we treat you as a customer of Logitech overall. And we want to ensure by brand, your preferences are available, but also as a Logitech, we have all of that insights and we interact with the consumer in the right sense. One of the key use cases that we have is around natural language processing. And it's been an interesting journey to build that, but essentially we are looking at creating chatbots where you could have targeted questions from a business perspective and ensuring it's more of an conversational analytics, which we support through the Snowflake platform. So the questions as depicted could be in sales fields or in the field when people are looking at specific answers, and it may not be a Tableau dashboard that they can go put the filters and get those answers. Essentially just talking to a chatbot out there asking the specific question, and the answer could be a specific number or a dollar amount, but you might want to add more value around it by saying that the product has such and such revenue, but which is essentially 15% more than that. So it becomes a value-added service on top of just that number being coming forth as an answer. And as you can see, the journey is in real time as a user is asking that question, and it goes through that NLP service, visualized data, and then goes to Snowflake and brings back the results. It also does translation. So some of that implementation is around Alexa products, where it could actually convert that text again to the voice. So you could really have a conversation with Alexa with that use case. Let's talk about the real-time Amazon pricing analysis. As I said, it is critical for us to be on top of this analysis. As you all are aware, on Amazon, you can go to the any product line page, and then there is a button saying sell yours here. And if there are people who have certain Logitech products, and we essentially call it somebody found a palette of products, but there's nothing stopping somebody in China or Japan selling our product on the US website. And it is tricky We do work with Amazon closely to ensure that doesn't happen, but there's always those instances. So if they are selling with the price difference below our threshold price, Amazon will start price matching for other consumers, and suddenly Logitech will be at loss and we'll have to pay Amazon that difference. So this dashboard, as you can see, it has a threshold pricing mapped out. We are looking at Amazon's pricing, third party, which would be people, one-off products being sold that are third party, and there could be used products as well. So we map this out, and anything below the threshold is an alert that goes to business to take a look at it. And if there's one-off product, maybe it goes away. But if there is a bunch of products, like a pallet full of it, in terms of quantity, then we absolutely need to ensure that it's taken off the market. So we will work with Amazon to take it off, but we need to make sure the pricing comes back to retail. And this also works around our case of who's winning the buy button. Ideally, we would want to have that buy button always with us. From a machine data perspective, as I said, we collect all of the data from external the field, and we map out the penetration of this is the real-time data coming back from all of our connected devices in IoT, and we map out how the penetration. Few things around demand forecasting is we are huge on point of sale data. Logitech does a demand forecasting for 52 weeks every week for next 52 weeks and looking at what the predictions would be. This is a quite time consuming and essential piece of the information, and Snowflake allows us obviously do it in a couple of hours. We also started using a lot of features of Snowflake. As you can see, we are looking at external data being used. Star Schema was obviously the biggest one to see what's the impact COVID to all of our sites worldwide. We look at price effects data, weather data to have some advanced use cases around how can we identify scheduling and routes around shipping. Some of the business impacts as an outcome of this data platform is faster time to deliver, cost savings, and reduced dependency on IT. We obviously have new streams and analysis being provisioned, operational and advanced analytics as well. This is fully self-serve. We on our IT side are responsible for the data platform, but beyond that, all of that is business driven. They could build all of the analytics using Tableau per se. And all of these data models are certified IT models and canonically pasted out there. With that also comes technical impact, which is faster time to deliver, obviously reduced time, total cost of ownership. There's reduced dependency on IT. So we could also be more of a service org than support org, understanding business problems and working closely with business. We have deployed secured, governed, and certified data models, which allows us to be in compliant with SOX requirements for financial models as well, and ensuring, irrespective of the tool of choice, the results will always match. With that, I want to thank you guys for attending the session. If there are any questions that'll come up at the time, happy to answer those. Thank you.
So Avi, thank you for sharing your story today. It was great to see how you've been able to bridge traditional BI analytics with your data science and machine learning capabilities, and then bring those insights back to each business unit. Now, with the few minutes we have left today, I'd like to have you answer some audience questions. How does that sound?
Absolutely. Happy to do so.
How are you storing IoT and device data in Snowflake?
Oh, good question. So as we are aware, all of the data warehousing data has been structured, and we were storing that as dimension models in Snowflake as structured. With machine data comes the challenge of various formats that the machine data is generated and IoT devices generate. So ours are in JSON format. Our edge compute pushes them as JSON from the edge to Amazon S3. We wanted to ensure that we are not doing batches of loads of that data and sort of wait for a logical end of the day. So we ingest that in near real time using Snowpipe, and we ingest them as JSON documents without conversion and natively store them in Snowflake as JSON in the variant objects, which allows us to scale analysis on top of it, but beyond that as well, to look at programming languages doing data science, which could natively consume JSON documents. So which just allows us that power to it, and we can semi-flatten it for analytical purposes or analytical tools like Tableau to use it. So we could do more indexing kind of a concept on top. So but natively raw data is ingested and stored as JSON itself.
Why did you choose AWS as your cloud infrastructure for Snowflake?
Well, so as you kind of got a gist from my presentation, we have been on Snowflake sort of grandfathered in 2017. We started the journey in 2016. So back then, AWS was fully enabled for Snowflake, and Azure and GCP were still in works. They were not generally available. Apart from that, Logitech does a lot of infrastructure within AWS environment. So we kind of was a natural choice for us because all of our other ecosystem, other infrastructure was hosted in AWS. So all of these factors sort of played in that role. Having said that, we are obviously open to looking at other cloud services, Snowflake being cloud agnostic. We hope we could have a footprint in a couple of those providers as well in the future.
How do you use Pentaho for ETL? And are there any specific reasons why you chose them?
We have had folks in the development team who were really capable ETL developers back in the day when we were on-prem on Oracle data warehousing concept, and we would do traditional BI in terms of extract, transform, and load into the target databases. So the tool of choice was Informatica back then, but the methodology was extract, transform, and load. With cloud infrastructures, we move away from that ETL to an ELT processing where we extract and load it into the cloud, and then we transform it natively in Snowflake. We needed a tool to sort of ensure that we could still scale from a development practices perspective, but we do not do ETL methodology anywhere, right? So we do ELT, but we needed a tool to allow us to orchestrate the AWS CLI concepts to it and still have a tool where you could do scheduling of jobs and managing of code and templatized development in terms of frameworks being built. So we chose a tool in Pentaho rather than going the route of writing our own code to kind of encapsulate the AWS CLIs. Why Pentaho? We were hoping that we could use Pentaho stack to not only do the ELT processing, but take it beyond to see if we could use their Mondrian queue functionality and few other choices that they had back then. And again, this is pre-Snowflake days when we started journey in cloud. If I fast forward now, obviously there is a best of breed tools available. So who knows, in future, something else might come up. And for us, it is not the only tool of choice. We also use other platforms in the cloud, in SaaS, like Fivetran, HVR, and Snowpipe, followed by all means, right? So it is a blend of various choices, but typically for development purposes, on-prem to the cloud, we are using Pentaho as the ELT tool of choice.
What do you use to collect Amazon worldwide reviews and pricing data?
A lot of gray area, a lot of people have. So we do not do it ourselves. We got a partner with a third party. Today we work with a company in Europe who does this for a living. Their job essentially is to scrape retail websites for that information. And they do that legally. So we're not truly in the gray area here, but what they do is they scrape it every half an hour for worldwide all retail websites. I believe they have about 185 websites across the globe from where they collect these. And different services from reviews is predominantly what they do, and it's main source for sentiment analysis. Pricing is a special privilege that we use, and when we do it for global Amazon sites only. So they have microservices available for us to ingest that data as it is provisioned. They look at buy button wins and losses as well for us. So predominantly the data sets include all of the reviews with star rating, as you probably saw the dashboard that I presented, and then the pricing data around all of the Amazon products, third party, new products, old products as well.
As a global company, how are you dealing with European data residency requirements?
Yeah, that's so the governance process always comes last, right? You go build data warehouses, you go build analytical solutions and solution stack and technology. Governance always sort of takes a backseat. So we are trying to be on top of that. Obviously, all of these regulations do impact because we are global. A lot of data is in Europe. GDPR is a big deal. California laws, absolutely. HIPAA compliance makes sense. We are fully SOX compliant. So the intent of, again, with the business layer architecture is having compliance platform in place, but also usage patterns. So the PII data is another big one. So we are happy Snowflake allows us with those features where we could do masking of information, and the take could be don't bring a lot of PI data if there's no need to do so, right? So we do never bring in social security numbers and things like that. We do not expose HR information into the data warehousing because maybe there's no need to it. Or if there is a need, we only bring the specific thing. So from get-go, from a design concept itself, we try to ensure we won't land up in the soup eventually. GDPR definitely is a tricky thing as we all learn with it as to what would come about it, what would happen in terms of personalization preferences from consumers in Europe compared to somebody else in other regions. It's a learning process, and we were happy at least our architecture and the tool stack in Snowflake and other tools allow us to implement it. But the compliance team at Logitech would be the right one to give us that guidance and put things in perspective.
Are there any particular new features in Snowflake that you're especially excited about?
Well, I'm always excited and thrilled the way Snowflake has been putting new features, right? We started the journey with a small footprint, grown over years, and today, happy to say we have all of our enterprise data warehouse, the whole transactional data in operational data store and relational data being stored, but we also did machine data, which is in JSON. We looked at factory data, which would be from actual shop floor. But apart from that, from a features perspective, obviously now we have structured and semi-structured data. We started using the organization concept of Snowflake, which is fairly new general availability, but it allows me to create multiple accounts of Snowflake under the Logitech umbrella, and we've done that. So we can segregate the SOX environment to a non-SOX environment. We also working with Snowflake for the pre-prod release, where we could test certain critical dashboards to ensure any functionality that Snowflake deploys every week doesn't break anything on our side. We said for factory, why would we want to get the data from China all the way to California and take it back on the shop floor when the requirements are near real-time analytics within the shop floor? So we created another Snowflake account in Snowflake to co-locate that data from China over there. And then I'm looking at providing some footprint into GCP as well, because a lot of our data science in the CTO office is looking at GCP as a platform. So why not? And we would want to show that functionality to ensure do that. And then the other feature I'm really excited about, and we do a lot with our security cameras and stuff, is unstructured data, which was never available on any data platform. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's still in private preview, so I'm pushing and wishing my luck gets me that in private preview to play with it. But I think it's a cool thing to bring all the convergence to the database, where you could have structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data all in one place, and supporting all the velocity, variety and volumes of data on the single platform, which is truly convergence. So I keep my knowledge abreast with all the new stuff that Snowflake does. And sometimes we also have feature requests where we are trying to build microservices environment on Snowflake as a backend for marketing needs. Typically, people do not use a Snowflake kind of environment for data interchange or microservices, which are small batches of inserts or updates. But we are going with that. So we've been reaching out to CTO at Snowflake to ensure we could do something like that. So it's a lot of it is driven obviously with Snowflake taking a direction, but we also hope to add more use cases of our own and being more innovative in that space.
Awesome. Exciting times ahead.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all the time we had today. Thank you, Avi, for being here.
Thanks
and
a lot.
everyone, please enjoy the rest of the Snowflake Cloud Data Summit. Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Thanks.